What is up? What is up, my friends? How are we all doing? Are we good? Are we Gucci, as the children say? All right. We're going to try some more new stuff. Doing improvised debate. Any topic. Goofy ones, funny ones are preferred, and off the top of my head, I'll have to try to argue in favor of what position you asked me to. So that'll be fun. That'll be super interesting and unique. Yeah. But for now, while we wait, okay.
I watched a body cam the other day on stream and I still think about it and make references to it. Even though it wasn't like the craziest body cam ever, the protagonist was like if you tried to create Alex Jones in a lab just off of the Cliff Notes. And it was so interesting, the monologues he was going on. And I've been so back and forth on like what caused it, because at the time I thought maybe like drug related, which they did find like pills on his person, but I don't think the pills would cause that, or if it was like an actual mental health issue. But when I tried to look into this guy, it doesn't seem like that's really the case. So maybe it was like substance related, but either way, the lines he was dropping throughout the body cam are iconic. The most unhinged meltdown ever caught on body cam. Is that new? Man, he's looking feral. He's got spit flying out, drooling. Damn. Alright, I might have to check that out. But that made me have to take a shit, so I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. That was very sad, though. Alright, time to watch the most unhinged meltdown ever, caught on body cam. Why was it sad? It was no poop, only fart. That was the most unshat shit ever caught in my butt.
You bow the down right this minute! Now! I'd like to rip the side of your face off and eat it!
This is not the aftermath
What
of
a
a
cool
violent
guy.
crime, but a simple trespassing complaint that spiraled out of control when one man unleashed such extreme rage that it tested the patience of everyone involved, turning it into a case no one saw coming.
You spineless motherfucker!
He's got a cool
It
voice.
began on the afternoon of November 1st, test and removed. While
Man, they got the Son of Anarchy here. He's a big Cowboys fan too, from the look of things.
the 56-year-old man reportedly appeared to be talking to himself and was not actively threatening anyone at the moment, the caller informed dispatchers that he had made threats towards staff in the past and had also posted threatening statements online.
How you doing, brother?
Good, how are you?
Hey, man.
I don't care. Yeah, could you step out?
I'm sorry about being a ass neighbor when you were over there.
He seems nice.
Glad you're here. Come on over. I got great news for you.
Just come over here.
What's the good news? What's the gospel?
Can I take a pic of you?
I don't care.
All right, awesome. I appreciate that, my man.
What's going on,
I always
man?
loved your kids. They were such cool little.
What?
You got to enjoy them. All right, here. Let me. First, it's good to see you again.
Yeah, you too.
What?
did he say?
Is this psychosis? What is happening? Is this bath salts?
All right, I'm sorry we didn't get to connect when we were neighbors and shit like that.
That's okay.
These motherfuckers got to door. They got the balls to lock the doors on me. Let me tell you a little story, buddy.
The
So I busted my
balls.
ass. I was let me
Here,
go back a
right?
little further. Huh? Yeah.
Here, yeah.
I've been here I was here for about 9 months. I quit on Monday. Asked for divorce on Tuesday.
From
Went
both?
through hell for the third time on.
What an eventful
I
week.
believe it was Thursday.
Okay.
We'll get to that shit later.
Therefore.
I want to talk to them
About what?
about the great opportunity that has been brought to them today, that they will blow their goddamn brains out themselves willingly in 3 hours.
What?
This
God,
message,
what?
I would
What message? That must be one hell of a message.
tell somebody else first. That's how f***ing serious this shit is, buddy. I'm lying not one iota.
While the officer was still reaching the location, the man reportedly attempted to enter the business
Cool
through the
render.
employee entrance. When he was unable to get inside,
They set
he
up
became
a
increasingly
Blender
aggressive, yanking
recreation.
harder on the door and yelling at staff members.
That is very disgusting.
I'm assuming you
there
drove
is
your
some.
bike here?
There is, yeah. Write me a goddamn ticket. You see that motherfucking flagpole?
Stop.
Because I have passion. You people don't recognize
why are we
passion.
yelling
I recognize passion.
Because I'm very upset. Because I sacrifice like you will not believe for this company. If you knew what I did for everybody in this country right now, you'd be on your knees kissing my. You would willingly lick my. Unless you're a commie. Are you a commie? You like the Russians?
No, I do not.
You like?
Stop.
It's fine. It's not right. You want me to? You tell. All right. Here's the deal. I'll make you. Wait. I'll give you guys. The deal.
So, if we only knew what he's done for this country, we would be kissing and licking his ass like a whole lollipop. Bro, I've gotta hear his stories, man. I've gotta know. What has he, is this, like, who is this? Ethan Hunt? Like, what has he done?
Deal.
What have you been talking about?
I'll give you a deal. All right. You guys gamblers?
No,
Want to make a bet?
no.
No. Okay. Yeah. Then
What have you
I
been talking about?
talk about.
I like this guy. The officer up
Why are we
there.
down here causing a scene right now?
Because I was impassioned to come in and bless these people's day. Fridays are a fun day, but this was going to be extra special, and it was planned pristinely for that occasion.
What was going to be special about it?
I was going to enlighten their minds with some wonderful, brilliant news
Can I ask
that
what
you
that
guys
news
are
is?
going to be so embarrassed if you squash.
Can I ask what it is?
Yeah, first of all, we're all going to take a big breath, right?
God, the build up here, the hype. I've gotta know what this message is. What could he possibly be telling us? Wow. I can't even imagine. Please.
We're going to find facts, all right?
good.
We're going to shake our arms around. We're going to have some fucking fun for a change, all right? Or we can run around, stop being like a plugged up fucking toilet. Oh, you can't say that.
Bro
You can't
thinks
say
it's
that.
disclosure day.
While en route, the sergeant asked dispatch to check the man's driving and criminal status, if any. Dispatch advised that the man's Class D and Class M driving privileges were both revoked. But soon, both the sergeant and the responding officer are about to realize that his revoked license is going to be the least of their concerns.
Thank you.
Drew, you only just empty my fucking
I'm telling you,
pockets.
keep your hands out of your pockets for me. Stop.
There it is.
Stop putting your
Okay.
hands. Stop
There's
putting your
nothing
He
hands.
threw a couple of quarters.
Stop putting your pockets.
Go ahead, dig your fingers in there.
I don't want to. That's
Why?
What I'm keep
He's on some Turbo Duke Nukem shit. So he, like, empties out his pockets, getting rid of his legendary loot there in front of the officers, and he's still going on about, like, this message. So this could be, like, something related to, like, a psychotic episode, I suppose, but it doesn't seem like, from what I've been able to tell, he has a history of it. So maybe this is just, like, him trying to throw them off for what he's actually doing there, or it could be substance related as well. I'm not really sure. But ultimately, he is harmless. He's just hitting some very big thespian troupe monologues that I think have a lot of weight to them. There's a lot of meat there. And, as he says, a lot of passion.
stop.
Grab for it.
You're being detained right now.
Here's my thanks for saving the United States.
You're being detained right now.
Here's my thanks for saving the United States of America, people. But I'll do it for you all over again. I don't give a.
Are you a veteran?
Oh, that was sweet.
Two-time felon, old baby. Fucking right.
All right, that was a cool twist. You a veteran? Nope. But I am a criminal. And I saved this country, damn it. You ever heard of the Suicide Squad? That was me.
Outlaw motherfucking craziest you've ever f***ing dreamt of. If you knew what you were doing right now, you'd run the other direction.
Do you have somebody who can pick a motorcycle up for you?
Yeah. Actually, if you guys touch that f***ing thing, you're gonna regret it the rest of your eternity.
Highly doubt it.
You want to bet? You want to bet me?
Stop.
You
just being
prick!
detained.
I have sacrificed my for you miserable cowards. You motherfuckers pissed me the f*** off. You what are you, a f***ing Russian? You suckers pissed me the f*** off.
You won't like him when he's angry.
You better f***ing take them cuffs
You better
off
hope
and
those
rock,
cuffs are made
bro.
out of adamantium.
I live next to you.
I understand.
I am telling you something.
Stop.
You assholes are gonna.
Does he actually live
kiss
next
my
to him?
ass. I did this for you, America. Arrest me, boys. Take me away.
Oh my God.
Free and home of the brave.
Oh my God, dude is having a full crash out. A full crash out.
This is cool. This guy's cool.
Stop.
Coward.
Stop before you make this.
I don't care. Go ahead. Do whatever you got. No, you're not. Don't you?
Not his bandana. No!
Oh, you gotta make sure. I spent 15 minutes getting that on perfectly. You know why? I got passion, you miserable coward. You two.
15 minutes to put the bandana on? What was it doing? Fighting back? Is it like Doctor Strange's cape? What do you mean, dude? How would that take 15 minutes? Sounds like he just didn't know how to put a bandana on.
I got the wrath of God at my fingertips. You sure you want to be digging around in there?
What the
Are you
fuck?
sure? Take them cuffs off right in this second. Get on your goddamn knees. You better fucking start listening, boy. I'm fucking warning you.
Oh no, it's beeping! DEFCON!
Red light.
This guy is
The ground is shaking, he's going Super
turning into a
Saiyan!
car alarm.
You copper. Let's go for a ride. I'm coming.
As he proceeded to lose his shit, a records inquiry
proceeded
later
to lose
confirmed
his
that the
shit.
man's driving privileges had originally been revoked following an OWI-related incident in 2020. It
Framed.
also
He was
revealed that
framed.
already had 2 prior convictions for operating after revocation.
Framed
since his
again.
license status was revoked in October 2021 and again in May 2023, making this his 3rd OWI-related OAR offense. But now, the man is about to stop at nothing as he continues piling even more charges.
Are you
against
telling me
himself.
this guy's not sober? This hero? No. Fishing for charges. They just didn't, they just don't understand.
I'll wring your useless. I'll grab you by the neck with my one good tooth and drag your ass to the other side of the street. If you don't fucking belong, you're maggot. You've got the
One good tooth.
That's not on me. That's
This
him
is-
talking to you, Paul.
This is
Would
how
you stop? You're
you.
hurting my left wrist.
Come this way,
This is
please.
how you get out of a
Dude,
ticket.
stop. I have a hard
You
enough time.
berate the
I feel like
officer.
he's got most of his teeth.
That's
I don't
the
know why he's
best way
saying
to do
one good tooth. Did he forget that he has all the teeth in his mouth? Like, this ain't Tommy Pickles or anything, bro. He's still got most of his pearly whites. He's just trying to have a superhero monologue. I mean, that's true, I guess, but at least be accurate.
This way.
The f up and give me a sec. Oh, you sucking maggot. You fucking maggot. You're gonna regret this for eternity because you're going right to hell. Because I'm gonna f
You're not my judge, fortunately.
I ain't, buddy.
Sit in the car, please.
You bow the f down right this minute.
Oh my God.
Sit in the car.
You better reconsider.
You better reconsider. Sit in the car.
Sit down, Ron. Check here. Jump in your cars. I'm gonna whisper to you. Please, unhand me this instant.
ASMR.
Get in your
That
car.
sounds
Yeah, we're
good.
past that point. Sit in the car, please.
Get in the cars.
Sit down.
Get in your cars after you uncuff me and mildly drive away as politely as possible while saluting me with a crisp and respectful, proper salute, boys! Are you fucking hearing me yet?
Ask you respectfully, sit inside my police.
That was a good monologue.
I'll do that, brother.
That was powerful.
Absolutely. I got no problem with the law.
Okay.
We gotta have laws. We don't have to have dumb f***s that can't get their head out of their ass like you two.
I agree. Have a seat in the car, please.
All right, bro.
Thanks.
He kind of, you know, he kind of looks a little bit like Heihachi from Tekken. Like the side profile is giving me very much Heihachi vibes.
My other foot's looking at it. It's fucking big around as a pumpkin. So, thanks very much. You're welcome. Ingrate.
Stop.
You fucking useless coward.
Stop.
You can't take me. I'll take you both right now. Draw your guns. I got handcuffs on. I don't stand a chance. You lily-livered monkey.
You're gonna make this worse for yourself.
All right, let's go. You got anything to eat?
In the car, please.
Got anything to eat? Lay your
He's
hands
hungry.
off me. My
You're not you
golden
when you're hungry.
Cowboys, my valiant f***ing cowboy shirt, you
Then
pop.
put your feet in the
Decide what to do with his motorcycle.
Sounds like the zombies in
Run,
Call of Duty World. Jesus, Kino der Toten.
gotta run! Get your goddamn stinking f***ing hands off my shit! You, what are you, a f***ing Arab? I'll rip your ass apart! Can we just go? I'm so f***ing hungry.
That has been the one through line, his appetite.
Let me out! I swear I'll eat you alive! Right this second! You goddamn motherfuckers!
This is gonna be a chapter. Used to be my neighbor.
Did he?
It does sound like a zombie movie.
I hate your
I can't believe he actually is his neighbor. That is mind-boggling to me. So these two are gonna see each other at some point again. Oh man, I wonder how that goes. Well, he might not be intoxicated at that point. The demon maybe only comes out when he's had a little. Used to be. Oh, did I hear him wrong? Did he say used to? I might have been paying too much attention to the screaming. Was it in the past? Oh, okay.
They can find a couple broomsticks to use on each other. You f***ing joy boy motherfuckers.
What do we want? Want me to try to contact him about the bike?
If you can, yeah, see.
Do we want to ask him or do we just
So much as look in your direction. I'll yank their f***ing shit out backwards and then stuff it in the other side. God damn it, I hate you motherfuckers. You f***heads.
Oh no! He's ulting.
You Russian f***ing whore.
Oh my
I
god.
got it in for the USA. I got news for you, brother. I got everybody's back.
Oh, he's going Hulk
You
Hogan.
too. Get the f*** out of my goddamn country. Jack, motherfucking shit bag. You ain't worth 2 cents of in a pan in hell.
He would talk to you.
There's so much to unpack. Modern day Shakespeare. It is very Shakespearean. You aren't worth two cents. I'll shit in a pan in hell, I think is what he said.
I'll
just
shit
talk?
in a
Take
pan in
yourself
hell.
and get on your knees.
That's a
We're gonna
keeper.
talk?
Get on your knees.
That's a keeper.
Right now.
Can we just talk?
Just get on your knees, man, please. Appease him.
I'm warning you. Open that door politely.
He's gonna
Politely
activate
do it
Amaterasu in
politely.
a second. Just get on your knees.
Shut your face a minute and give me a second.
I have to grab you though, right?
Shortly after the man was turned over to jail staff, officers were notified that a small prescription pill had been found inside his wallet during the booking process. Jail staff advised that the pill appeared to be a Schedule II controlled stimulant. The officer later retrieved the pill and transported it to the Sparta Police Department, where it was photographed and submitted into evidence. The small white pill marked M in a square and 20 above a line was secured as evidence. An online search identified it as 20 milligram methylphenidate hydrochloride, a Schedule II central nervous system stimulant, which explains some of his behavior.
That's like my
What
shit.
is it normally used
Like
for? What is
ADHD
that
drugs.
treat? It's an
Methylphenidate.
ADHD medication.
Yep.
Is it really? I've never heard of that one.
Methylphenidate.
M20 is ADHD meds. Huh. There's no way that's responsible for this then. Ain't no way. It's similar to Adderall. Yeah, and Adderall doesn't turn you into this. I mean, I guess maybe if you take it enough, like a fucking absurd amount, I guess. I don't know, maybe. Probably mixed with other stuff. I guess that's possible, yeah. I don't know.
Get your hands off me, you f***ing monkey fuck. What are you gonna play with my packer, you f***ing queen? What do you want? Stick your
What are you doing to that patriot? What are you doing to him?
I'm not doing anything.
Does that number say 0?
Kneel down.
They
This
may
is
be
pretty
working,
nice.
but they're still there, motherfucker.
No.
Kneel down.
Everyone got to make some new friends. Hey, he's walking. He's passionately walking.
That's respect. All right, let go of me.
Cross his legs.
Dude, please, you're hurting me.
Just relax.
You're hurting me.
Relax.
You're the one not relaxing.
Where you hurting? You
You're
relax.
my arms. Please, I beg you, let go of it. Guys,
His
please.
tone just changed so much. Guys, come on, let's take it down a notch. You guys are getting a little extreme. Come on, relax, guys. What are you doing? Grow up.
Ultimately, the man was charged with felony battery threat to an officer, ×2,
I didn't see
misdemeanor
any of that.
possession of a controlled substance, disorderly conduct, and operating while revoked. He was later released on a $250 cash bond. Eventually, he pleaded guilty due to a no contest plea of 1 count of battery threat to an officer. Remaining charges were dismissed. Ultimately, he was only sentenced to pay a $500 fine.
Really?
Don't
Kind of
just-
worth it then. You got to have one hell of an afternoon at only a $500 price tag.
All right. This is the kind of
Can't
stuff
do
I
that
want to
in
be
Europe.
doing soon.
You can't do what?
Wave a flag. They're banning it. You cannot wave.
Can't wave a flag?
You cannot wave your country's flag in Europe.
You can't wave your country's flag in Europe?
It is being banned.
I was just at the Olympics, and that's in Italy and Europe. Everyone was waving their own country's flags, including the Italian flag.
Well, you can't put it up on your house. Not anymore. They're banning it. I think it's still in process, but
In all of Europe.
I'm not saying all of Europe. I think actually maybe it's just the UK.
Oh my God. I can't wait to go do this.
Do you hope Donald Trump runs for president in 2028?
You see, what I'm wearing, baby, they stole the election from us, right? They stole an election.
Okay. So what does that mean?
That means that they
You're talking about 2020?
2020, yes. So President Trump allowed them to steal the election. They stole the election. They ran a coup. And it's just like a diamond heist. If you steal the diamonds, then once they find the diamonds, you return it back to the original owner, right? So that's the way we look at the executive, the presidency.
All right, and so you're talking about Iran. You're hoping to make Iran great again. How is that going to happen?
With the memorandum of understanding, which leads to a peace treaty, which leads to a pact, and it's a framework for a future agreement. But it's not.
Some people criticize it, though. You probably know the reasons they do.
I understand the criticism.
Yeah.
I think it's baseless because it's nothing at this point. It's better than the JCPOA, which P in JCPOA is a plan. And it took Obama 2 years to come up with that thing, and it was still a piece of shit. It should be called should have been called the JCPOS. It was a piece of shit agreement. It wasn't a plan of act. It was a plan of action, and it was a weak plan at best.
And how is it weaker than this MOU right now?
No, because it's only an MOU, and they're still working out the details. So nobody can predict the future at this point. Everyone is just speculating at this point. I don't even think Trump knows what's in it yet. They're still working out the details.
Oh my
Trump doesn't
God!
know what's in the MOU?
He's the
They're
president.
still working out the details.
Make America great again. When was America great?
Well, it's always been great. It was great after World War II. It was great after
During like Jim Crow?
World War II. No, after the World War II when we defeated the Nazis.
Right, but it also like there was a lot of like oppression of like black people in the United States at that point.
The Civil Rights Movement. Yes, well, the Civil Rights Movement, was in the 60s and 70s, and
Was that when America was great? Is that what you're talking about?
no, I'm not talking about that. I think that we overcame those hurdles, and the 80s and 90s were a very nice time as far as the country melding together after the Civil Rights Movement. I think the 80s and 90s were really a couple of really nice decades.
So when Trump says make America great again, is he talking about the 80s and 90s?
He could be. I mean, I hope that's what he's talking about because I'm a child of the 80s and 90s, and I remember good times then.
I remember as a kid just being a kid and enjoying it, but like the AIDS epidemic was like ravaging the gay community in New York and San Francisco. Millions of people were dying around the world. And the economy was not roaring at that point.
Well, if I recall, I think the economy was doing pretty well in the 90s.
In the 90s for sure, yeah. I was just talking about the 80s for the AIDS epidemic.
In the 80s, I remember a lot of limousines in the 80s, a lot of, big parties, it was a very glamorous time, when I was younger, but I remember like more glamorous times, a lot of limousines and, big parties and things like that.
So make America great again means the 1990s in the United States of America?
Sure, why not?
Okay.
I don't trust anybody in that way. But
Is there anyone that you get information from that you trust? Is there anyone you would recommend that people out there look to for truth?
the Bible,
Of course.
that's about it. Other than that, no.
The Bible's the only truth out there.
Yeah, I don't even think you can depend upon people that claim to be teaching the Bible to give you the truth anymore. It's sad.
Do you think the Bible is literal in its
Yeah, I do. I think the Bible's literal.
like the thing? All the things really happened and they are the truth as written.
That's what I believe, yes.
So there was a flood. Everyone.
I do believe it, yeah.
People used to live to be 500-600 years old.
It says it, I believe it. Yeah.
Okay. Really? People used to live to be like 600 years old before all these medical advances we've had, even though we've seen life expectancy going up in the Bible. When it says someone lived to like 900, I think Noah lived to like 900 years. That's real, and it actually happened.
I believe it, yes.
I don't know if there was a flood that killed everybody, but Noah saved like 5 family members and some animals, and you believe it literally to be true exactly like that. But we're all descendants of those.
And so we should be one big happy family and love each other and quit hating on each other and trying to
So
kill each
the same
other.
family was having kids with each other and
I
stuff?
don't know how that worked. I can't.
I can guess. That's not pretty.
Would you like gay marriage to be illegal in the United States?
I'm going to go with the Word of God, and a man and a woman is a marriage.
There it is.
So I'll stand on that.
Would you like there to be other biblical principles that are the law of the land?
Well, it is established already. By him dedicating the United States to Jesus, it's already established. The Word of the Lord, the biblical truths.
But some of the things in the Bible where it says if a man lays with a man, is lays with a woman, they've committed an abomination. Surely they should be put to death. That's the word in the Bible. Do you think that should be the law of the land of the United States?
I will always stand on the truth of the Lord. So the truth of the Lord is the truth of the Lord. So I will stand on biblical truth.
So would you want the law to be that gay people should be killed?
I'm not for death. I'm for life.
Okay.
So the word of the Lord is for life. We declare we're here evangelizing. We're here preaching the gospel for life. So we declare the word of the Lord. So the word of the Lord is that we call forth salvation for all people, that the Lord sent his only begotten son to die on the cross for our sins, so not one shall perish. So that is the truth, that God loves all people, and he doesn't want to see anyone perish.
And then just other laws, like in Leviticus, it also says you can't wear mixed fibers. Should that be the law of the land?
I wouldn't know right now. I mean, that's where I stand right now.
But those are the biblical laws. That's why I'm asking.
Well,
I can't wait to be out there
unsure what
doing
you're
shit
asking
like
me right
this,
now.
dude. I really
In Leviticus,
can't.
it says you can't wear mixed fibers. You can't wear mixed fabrics. Should that be the law?
Yes, yeah, I understand what you say. I understand what you're saying. Yeah. I just go off of the biblical truth of the word of the Lord. Okay. So whatever it is, that's where I stand.
Okay. So no mixed fabrics, no shrimp. You can't eat shrimp. No shellfish. That's in Leviticus as well.
So are we here to talk about the 250 years?
No, you were saying you wanted biblical laws, and that would be a
now
biblical
she's like,
law.
okay, but
or
America's
we're talking
birthday.
about just little things that are not
Listen,
concerning, like actually.
Listen, I support everything the Bible says until you start pointing it out to me, and then I need to pivot to America's birthday, because fuck you for pointing out any inconsistencies. All right, I wasn't here for that. I didn't agree to defending the Bible. Okay, I never agreed to defending the Bible. I just agreed to saying that I think we should live by the Bible. Okay, don't actually ask me to back any of that up.
You can't do that in Europe.
You can't do what?
Wave a flag. They're banning it. You cannot wave.
Can't wave a flag?
You cannot wave your country's flag in Europe.
You can't wave your country's flag in Europe?
It is being banned.
I was just at the Olympics, and that's in Italy and Europe. Everyone was waving their own country's flags, including the Italian flag.
Well, you can't put it up on your house, not anymore. They're banning it. I think it's still in process, but
in all of Europe.
I'm not saying all of Europe. I think actually maybe it's just the UK. Okay. Yeah.
And what are they? They're banning the flag of Great Britain, or they're banning all flags.
No, not all flags. Not all flags. Just their particular country's flag.
What?
You can't show patriotism, is what I'm saying. Oh, okay. In a lot of the countries over there, Europe countries, like you can here, like we're free to do here.
Okay.
All right. I haven't heard that. Where did you see that?
Yeah. I don't remember, but definitely not the left-wing media. I'll tell you that.
And look, we could have J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance could, if he's going to be the nomination, he could win the presidency and say, look, I'm going to put it in the hands of Trump. You know, so there are variables, but that, you know, we've gone into the Constitution and...
But it is against the Constitution for him to become president for a third term.
It is against the Constitution to overthrow a duly elected president.
But you're saying one thing leads to the other, but he's already in his second term. Like he's got back that term you're talking about. He got that back. He's in office again. He won. Nobody's debating that. He won the 2024 election. So why would he just get another term?
Because the circumstances is an election was stolen. Have we had presidents that served more than 2 terms ever? Have we? I think we have.
Before the 22nd Amendment.
Yes. But
there's an amendment in the Constitution. Can't do that anymore. No more.
Well, I think that
it's in the Constitution. Can't do it. Yeah.
Well.
So.
We'll see.
You could invest in human lives via the Department of Transportation?
Yes.
What do you mean?
Well, we wouldn't. I mean, corporations and governments.
Mm-hmm. So now people are worth millions. Who knows?
How much are you worth?
I have no idea because it used to be where you could find it. The website.
You could have found how much you personally were worth.
I didn't want to go look because I didn't want whoever's watching to know that I knew where to go.
And so on July 4th, there's going to be this massive change.
I don't know, or hopefully by then. That's my best assumption.
And so what should everyone do till then? Just party, have fun? Is it like the end of the world or the beginning of the world?
Put their energy toward thinking of the golden age, right? We are moving from what was not right into what is right. So think of what's your best scenario, right? That you are abundant and healthy, and you.
Well, like an infinity pool.
Yeah.
You're not going to see a pallet full of millions and millions of dollars being shipped over there from American tax dollars, taxpayers.
That was $1.7 billion that Obama released to them in his deal. That was their $400 million adjusted for inflation over time. Donald Trump is releasing $12 billion. That's a lot more.
Yeah.
Well, let's see what we're going to get for that. So.
You were saying there was one thing where you weren't going to see, which was giving them a bunch of money, but that is part of the deal.
Right. Pallet loads of money being dropped off with no accountability whatsoever.
That's what's happening right now.
Yeah. But part of the deal is there's no accountability. They can spend it how they choose. In this deal.
I don't know. I haven't seen that.
All right, sorry, I gotta rewind a little bit. So it's almost like nothing is as it seems. You're saying we can't get stuff out of the strait unless they let us.
How did they close the strait? They used the drones. They used the the mines. They laid mines and drones.
I know, but didn't we just affirm to them that they can close the strait when they want? Isn't that a huge bargaining chip that we gave to them?
Yep.
No, it's not, because what they were expecting is that their ships would go in and out even though nobody else's could.
And now we just lifted all the restrictions on their oil, and they're only promising not to charge ships for going through the strait for the next 60 days. So at some point, they can just control it completely. They didn't know they could do that.
Well, I mean, the idea is they negotiate something, during the 60-day period. That's sort of the idea, but will they or not, we don't know. It seems like it's pretty shaky right now.
Well, the thing about it is, you and I both know that we have a president that's going to hold their feet to the fire. And if they don't live up to what he says, I mean, you remember he even threatened to take control of the strait and charge 20% surcharge.
And it didn't work, right?
Well, no, he just threatened it.
Is it possible, though, that we all have to find happiness in the world that we're in with the people we know and the financial situation that we have? We can always try and better ourselves, but that this is the real world. There's no big change or awakening coming. Is that possible?
I think that's called the Great Awakening. So we just spent the weekend in Tennessee at a New Earth location there, and it's about sovereignty. It's about freedom of, natural law. So.
What does that mean? A new Earth, like New Earth? Like what's about to happen?
Sovereign community.
What do they do there?
Well, they're going to build housing. They're going to build an equestrian center because.
This is not a doomsday cult.
No, it's not a cult.
And if you watch one show, it's not going to make any sense to you at all. You need to check in a couple times a week. What are they? Yeah, don't watch the hour show,
Right.
but they do like a 15 or 20 minute almost every day, and gives you an idea of what.
That lady knows what's going to happen?
She's one of two.
Okay.
Of what's been going on to get us to where we're at today.
All right, and Donald Trump's the solution?
Yes. He's, yeah.
The guy who put on the beauty pageants, the guy who did the casinos in Atlantic City and didn't pay some of the people who build them and all that stuff. He's the guy. He's the solution?
Yeah.
The IRS is not a legal, lawful agency.
Oh my
And
God.
it was never approved properly through Congress. So they con you, or they talk you into voluntarily paying.
So don't pay taxes, are you saying?
What?
Yeah, they have no right to collect them.
We dropped these bunker buster bombs last summer to stop them from getting nuclear weapons. Donald Trump said their nuclear program was obliterated.
Well,
was that true or not?
well,
or not
I mean,
true? Or
how'd you say you can stop a squirrel from getting one nut, but they're going to go after another? They are, if I remember correctly, they were at some talks where they were bragging that they had 60% enrichment. And so that's the reason why he had to go back. They didn't stop. They just kept going.
So did Donald Trump lie last summer when he said we obliterated it? If you say we didn't, then you're not a patriot. You're lying. Or he said all that stuff.
No, I don't think he lied. I think he said we obliterated this part.
When we had a bumbling fool, if you'll pardon me, I love the office of president, but I think we had a terrible president in Biden.
Oh, that's not bad language. Fool. That's not even bad language.
Well, I wouldn't say he was foolish.
I was just not giving you. I didn't sound like bad language to me at all.
How kind
As far
of
as
him
bad
to
language
adjust
goes,
that.
a fool.
Yeah, there's a lot of F words flying around on both sides, and I don't like that. And I'm a Christian first, I'm a patriot second, and I'm a Republican third. And so I'm looking for people who are for faith,
Is this your wife?
family, and freedom. This is, yes.
Where's being a husband on the list? Husband.
What did she think?
You're my husband.
Oh, yes, I'm definitely her husband. 36 years this.
Well, I was just wondering where it ranked on the list.
Oh, being husband? That's the family part.
Oh, so
Yeah.
what was it?
Yeah.
What was it?
I said, so Jesus first, family second, and or conservative family. Really, you can say conservative and family.
And you said patriotic?
I said, I said Christian first, conservative, family-loving, patriot second, and love of.
I don't know if you had the family in there first, but
Well,
that's fine. Yeah, it's
I
okay.
should say-
Yeah,
I
that's
should
all
say
right. That's
family.
okay.
'Cause,
I
well,
think he meant to include you in this second.
He knows. Yeah, he's very important.
Yeah,
I included her first.
But I'm saying he meant to include you in this. I think the second one.
Absolutely, yeah.
So just in case you had overheard that and didn't,
I
yeah.
included family first
Yeah.
because I used the name Jesus, and he's the most pro-family that you can get. So if I say Jesus, if I'm following Jesus, then I'm going to be a good husband.
Okay. And so that was first, essentially. So that, never mind, it was first.
That's always
okay.
first.
All right.
I got to go. I want to
Yeah,
get in.
yeah, sure. All right, so we had a ranking system of important things, and I think it was faith, patriotism. I don't know where a wife was on it, honestly, but then he said first. Happy wife, happy life, right? You gotta revise the list, which she's standing right there, sir. Do you believe election integrity is an issue?
Yes.
Why do you think the Republicans have the House, the Senate, and the presidency then?
Rhinos, buddy. Republicans in name only. I mean, every Democrat votes against the SAVE Act, and you've got one or two of these.
No, but I'm asking if election integrity was an issue, How did Republicans get control of everything?
Too big to rig. That was the 2024 election. Everybody turned out because they were sick and tired of all the illegals coming in.
That sounds a little convenient. Let me just push back here a little bit.
Okay.
So it's too big to rig when Republicans win, but it's rigged when Democrats win.
By mail-in ballots. We didn't win by mail-in ballots.
Well,
How did Donald Trump vote in the last election?
Supreme Court
I have no idea.
Mail-in
anything
ballot.
about it.
Well, that's fine.
Donald Trump is donating his $400,000 a year presidential salary back to the American people. What do you think about that?
If he can do it, let him do it.
Well, he can do it because he's making an average of $5.8 million a day on his crypto schemes. Yeah.
He's a businessman. When you're celebrating a transgender drag queen show at the White House, how's that different from a wrestling match? Well, it's different, but the
different
wrestling
'cause
match
it's
didn't
scary
offend me
and
as
I don't
much as
like it.
just seeing that you don't respect man and a woman, period.
Did it offend you when the UFC fighter said Michelle Obama is a man?
I wouldn't have said it. Did I get upset because I had other things to deal with? But at
Oh
the
my
same
God.
time, I wouldn't drag that through the mud because can I switch subject? Not going to avoid that subject.
I just want to say on that we have bigger concerns than to worry about him someone calling Michelle Obama a man.
It wasn't smart.
What is today all about?
God.
God?
Like trans story hour?
How is it about God?
Trump and
it's
saving
not
saving our country.
Trump, God, country.
Yeah. No, God, Trump, and yeah.
God, Trump, country?
Yes.
Wait,
my
God,
God.
Trump, country?
Yes, I
Oh my
believe in God.
But Trump is right below that, and then country?
Yeah.
I mean, God
I feel like
appointed
you
Trump
shouldn't
to us.
God appointed Trump.
You shouldn't have to think about that even, bro. Let alone actually say, holy shit.
He's helping. Yes.
Why is America back?
President Trump, he's brought America back
How so?
with his policies.
And how have they helped you?
How they've helped me? Put more money in my pocket. The economy's doing better.
It's doing better? Inflation's higher now, and gas prices are high.
Oh, no.
No, they're not?
Not to me.
They're not high to you, but they are high.
Thank you.
Okay.
And y'all
They're
looking hard
planning
today.
to release $12 billion
I know, it's
to
the
them.
Friday before
Does
July
that-
4th.
does
Y'all
that-
are probably out
I don't
doing
know.
things.
Concern you?
Obama flew 1.6 billion on pallets in the middle of the night. So what's the difference?
What's the difference? 10.4, I guess. Do you feel like Donald Trump helps or hurts with political division?
You know, he's an honest man. You know, he's a construction man. He's a businessman who took the most difficult job in the world. If anybody feels they can do better, then they should get out there and stop critiquing him. None of us have good public speaking skills. I think he's improved over the years.
Oh my
but at the
God.
end of the day,
This
I
hair,
support my
though.
president.
You had an issue with his public
That's one of the
speaking at
best
the
parts of
beginning? You
this
think he's
video is
gotten
the fucking
better?
hair.
You know, you cringe, you know, but at the end of the day, you know,
Wait, sorry, like what? You cringe? You would cringe?
You-
Like what specifically?
oh, why do you got to say that? You know, I can't think of, there's a lot, you know.
Hey! Anyway, we're having a good time. I don't know what the fuck is going on here.
Okay, what are you guys doing?
Oh, talking to people.
Okay, so have to be here or back that way?
Yeah, I'm here, right?
Watch another one. Ooh. This looks fun.
Elvis is alive.
Yeah.
Yay!
What evidence have you seen of this?
I
I love these.
Why'd you come out here today?
I support Trump, our president, and I support a lot of other things like Q.
What is Q?
Oh.
Q? Q, I believe, is God. It's the 17th letter of the alphabet.
Oh, boy.
And I've been following that for a long time. I've been awake to a lot of the corruption in this for about 14, 15 years. So, and then I found Q later on, but I started following the drops, and he was telling the truth.
And so for people who don't know, what is Q? Or I guess, who is Q?
Well, I believe it's God.
The person writing on the message board was God?
I believe he had a lot to do with it, yes. And that's my belief. Now, other people say, oh, it's AI, it's everything like this, but it's a military psyop.
So God was involved in a military psyop?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I believe so, because he was not happy what was going on Earth. And he wanted to rid the evil and expose it. And that's what we're doing. We're exposing the evil. And once we get rid of the evil, life will be so much better. And
so is Donald Trump involved in this?
He maybe. I can't really say, but I believe he is. I believe they're all part of it. There's a whole bunch of people that are helping bring peace and harmony back to the world. This is not just the United States. This is worldwide, where we've all been enslaved. And when you find out your birth certificate is your straw man.
Is what?
Is your straw man.
What does that mean?
Your birth certificate, when your mom signed you over to the state, you became an orphan of the state with your birth certificate.
What does that mean?
You didn't claim to be a living human being. So everything the government does is for your name. If you look, it's in all capital letters. Do you write your name in all capital letters?
Isn't that just so you know what they're all the same?
That's your straw
size?
man. That's your straw man, and then you find out.
Wait, so explain to me. So when your parents sign the birth certificate, you give away yourself to the government. They give you to the government.
You become enslaved by the government.
In what way? Like, are you enslaved right now?
Yeah, I've been enslaved since my mother signed me over to the government. And
explain it to me, because I still don't understand. What does that actually mean?
What they're doing with your birth certificate, your social security number, and all that, what they're doing is they purchase bonds and notes on your birth certificate and trade you on the New York Stock Exchange.
Wait, so we're being traded? Human beings are being traded on the New York Stock Exchange?
Yes, when you find that all out, and you got to do your little research, but it's true. And I've looked it up myself on my birth certificate. On your birth certificate, your social security card is an imprinted number. It begins with an alphabet. Just like your dollar bill has an alphabet before the number, that's the mint. Okay? Your birth certificate has a mint. That mint owns your birth certificate, which they trade on the New York Stock Exchange. They bet on how much money
she can barely get through this.
Are going to earn for them.
Okay. How many margaritas have you had, miss?
To what end?
We're enslaved. We've been enslaved. Everybody on this planet has been enslaved.
Not just in a way that like we're working for big corporations and billionaire classes can control everything, or in a different.
Well, there's a lot to it.
Okay. Is Donald Trump involved in this right now? Because he does run the government right now.
No.
He knows about it, I'm sure.
So why hasn't he stopped it?
It will eventually. We're not to that point yet. But we will be. And it's going to be glorious. Because what's coming behind this is over 6,000 technologies that they've been hiding from us for years.
My God.
Like what?
Med beds, for one.
The med beds!
And I've
there they are.
The patents on these. I've been in this fight for 16 years.
Okay.
Oh, my God.
And I know there's cures for cancer. I cured my husband's cancer naturally.
With what?
I can't tell you.
Why?
Because they might lock me up.
Oh, my God.
What if, I've had family members who have had cancer before. I'd love to know what it is.
There's more cures than just what I did.
Okay.
There's ivermectin. There's bendazole. There's mebendazole.
Fuck off. Do not tell me you think you can cure cancer with fucking ivermectin. Oh, COVID just broke everybody's brain. Everyone's brain is broken because of fucking COVID. I mean, it feels like this lady's brain was already broken, but still. Holy shit.
There's apricot seeds. There's marijuana.
Weed cures cancer?
Yes, it does. I don't think there's so much. You have to get your body alkaline because cancer is a parasite. They're parasites. They live in your body. And we deworm our dog, we deworm the horses, we deworm the cats, but we never deworm our own stuff.
Well, I think we also aren't eating the food that might give us worms, like a dog might get into the trash or something like that.
It's in our foods, it's in the shots. You know, look at the vaccines. Take a good look at the vaccines.
Look at them.
It's got their parasites in the vaccines, I believe.
Oh my God.
So you think vaccines that we take are actually filled with parasites?
I think they're filled with poison. And there's all natural remedies for everything. I make my own soap, my own bug spray, my own suntan lotion, shampoo, everything.
Oh, that was a
because
poorly timed
what
cough.
they're putting in the products causes cancer,
very
like
poorly timed
suntan
cough.
lotion. Do you know, in the baby suntan lotion has the highest amount of carcinogens in baby lotion?
I thought cancer was a parasite.
If they are putting it in stuff, it causes cancer.
But the cancer is a parasite, or it's the...
Well, depending on what type of cancer it is. Okay. And you have to research that too.
What were your thoughts on Jeffrey Epstein?
Epstein, yeah. His whole island should be blown up, along with Richard Branson's island.
Why would you want to
He's
blow
another
up the
one that
island? All the
does the same
evidence
thing
is
that
there.
Epstein Island was doing, is taking the children. And why does Disney Cruise Lines, let me ask you this, why does Disney Cruise Lines take people to little St. James Island, where Epstein Island is?
Why does Disney take them there?
Snorkel or whatever.
Capturing
but
the
they
children.
also could hide children on that ship.
Last year, Donald Trump was kind of fighting the release of the Epstein files. Why do you think that is?
Because there's so many people in it that the whole government would go down, pretty much. I say 98% of the government that are involved in pedophilia, satanic worship.
98%?
98%.
Do you think Donald Trump is part of that percentage?
No, sir.
No?
No, I do not.
He was friends with Jeffrey Epstein.
No, he wasn't. No, he kicked him out of his Mar-a-Lago.
Well, there's the videos of him like looking at girls together and things.
Epstein would want to get pictures. It's just like me. If I wanted to take a picture with you, say you, and frame you, oh, I'm good friends with him. No, that's not.
There's like video of him like looking at girls at parties and smacking butts and things like that.
I have not seen any of that.
Okay. Well, it exists. So you can look it up. You can look it up.
I will. If you have something, excuse me, that I can look to, I will look at it.
You believe that Elvis is alive?
Yeah.
What evidence have you seen of this?
I saw him in person. And I've listened to his preaching. I listened to him. He had to get out of the cabal because they weren't going to kill him anyhow. Just like Michael Jackson. They said all these, the press smears these people if they don't follow what they want them to do.
Yeah.
And that's why most of them had to go in hiding. And they had to. And I feel sorry for them for having to do that. But they were helping in the background.
Where do you think Donald Trump ranks on the list of greatest presidents?
At the top right now, but I don't know if that's really Donald Trump either.
You don't know that Donald Trump is Donald Trump?
That's correct.
Okay.
I have my reasons. I've been to 20 rallies.
Fuck off.
I know Donald Trump's height.
Oh, no.
And I also watch for people that come up onto stage at their height, and I see how they compare. How can somebody who is 6'2" be taller than somebody who is 6'3"? I asked the Secret Service guy that.
Well, he could just be lying about his height, because he says I'm 6'3", and I've been near him, and I'm definitely like 3 inches taller than he is.
He's not 6'3". That's not Donald Trump.
I'm 6'3".
Well, I believe you, but I'm just saying.
He's not 6'2", I guess is what I'm saying. He says he's 6'2". He's not. He's lying about that.
6'3", and if you go all over,
He's definitely not 6'3".
And well, then you weren't standing next to the real Donald Trump either.
Oh my God.
So it's either it's a different Donald Trump or he's lying about the height.
Either a stand-in person or somebody like that, or a man in a mask, and I believe it's a man in the mask.
So where do you get your news?
Where do I get my news? I research on the web.
There it is.
What is a med?
There it always is.
There's 3 of them. I read all the patents at the U.S. Patent Office, no doubt.
1 second, guys. All right, guys, I'll be right back. I gotta go let the nurse in for Dad. Okay, we're back. Where were we?
And the first one is a diagnostic, then there's a regenerative, and then there's a celestial.
The med beds. The fucking med beds.
They do different things.
What did she say?
I don't know. But
Sounded like chemtrail.
chemtrails?
Oh,
yeah,
my
what
God.
about the chemtrails? Yeah, I
What
know
about
about
the
them
chemtrails?
too.
Don't get
What
me
are
started about the
chemtrails?
chemtrails.
Chemtrails are made of barium and aluminum and some other nasty stuff. But if you take
Nasty
a chemical
stuff.
compound of barium, which is what?
Spam in the
I have no
Twitch
idea.
chat.
I failed my. I didn't fail. I got a C in chemistry.
Bad. Okay. The chemical sign for barium is Ba. The chemical sign for aluminum,
Here
you
we
put the
go.
two together. Baal.
Oh
What's that
no!
Ball.
Why are these
Ball.
people so
Satan.
goofy?
Sun. They do things. The Satanists do things. And do
There
you
it
know
is.
that the morticians got
They're
together in Las
Satanists.
Vegas several years ago, and they were saying, what are we finding in people's brains that have Alzheimer's and Parkinson's? Guess what?
Alzheimer's?
Do you know what it would be?
Alzheimer's?
Correct. Where are we getting the aluminum from? We're breathing it in.
From the
Chemtrails.
Man, I love these people.
Do you think Donald Trump knows about these chemtrails?
Oh, I'm sure he does.
Why hasn't he stopped it?
I think since the White Hats took over, they've changed the chemtrails nowadays.
Okay.
They're not with the barium and aluminum in it.
So you believe Donald Trump is the greatest president of all time?
Him and JFK, who might be still alive. Just saying.
Trying to break my brain today?
Yeah, I can break a lot of people's brain. People say to me and my cohorts, they're saying, I'm the red pill queen, and I don't give pills, I give suppositories.
Yuck.
Yeah, but it's a major dose of truth. And I know.
And the truth is, just want to make sure I get it all.
It's my truth.
The earth is flat. Elvis is alive. JFK is alive. JFK Jr. is alive. Robin Williams is alive. Michael Jackson is alive.
gracious.
Prince is alive. The government trades us on the stock market, and when you sign a birth certificate, you're signing yourself over to the U.S. government.
That is your straw man. And
So that's the truth.
that is the truth. Whole truth and nothing but it.
Big liars. Okay.
I've been
What do we got here?
asked what is the first thing that that the left needs to do when it takes power again, and I have said the first thing that needs to happen is court reform and court expansion.
Yeah, look, you're getting me closer to your point of view.
That is a clip from California Governor Gavin Newsom's podcast where he interviews political commentator Brian Tyler Cohen about Brian's new book. It is called The Day After: How to Wield Power in a Post-Trump World. Brian Tyler's first book was the New York Times #1 bestseller. We'll see how his next book does when it comes out next week. Brian Tyler Cohen, welcome back to The Story Is.
Thanks for having me.
So this is getting a lot of attention, especially this chapter that you wrote about the Supreme Court. Of course, today, the last day of the Supreme Court's term. You say that it's time for Democrats to expand the court. I want to put up your proposal up on the screen. You say you want to have 13 justices. A reminder, there's now 9 justices on the court, that they should serve 1 8-year term and then go back to other courts. They should have an enforceable code of conduct and mandatory retirement for the justices at 70. We know several of them are over that, some significantly over that over the years. Why?
So first and foremost, I think that you can take a historical view of this. The number of Supreme Court justices as far as history is concerned, has always comported with the number of federal court circuits. And so going back to 1837, there were 6. Eventually that number went up to 9. But as these federal court circuits grew, the number of Supreme Court justices didn't. There's also more recent precedent for that. And for example, that was when Mitch McConnell held the number of Supreme Court justices to 8 instead of 9 because he wanted to keep Merrick Garland off of the court for nearly a year. So that's that argument. But I think more broadly, the idea of this book, the thesis of this book, its North Star, is that Democrats need to actually wield power in very much the same way that Republicans have wielded power in the past. And in doing that, what I'm basically looking to say is you've got, let's say we're in a situation where we have Democratic control of the House, the Senate, and the White House. Any legislation that gets passed, any progressive legislation that's going to get passed is going to have an automatic veto when it comes to the Supreme Court. So as far as we're concerned, if we want any legislation to stick, if we don't just want this to be a symbolic exercise, if we don't just want this to be, let's just get caught trying, but instead enact meaningful, permanent reforms, then something has to be done about the Supreme Court, a Supreme Court that will fall over itself to help the Republican Party in a way
I didn't know that it always was directly sort of linked to the size of the circuit court. That's new to me. I wasn't aware of that. That's pretty interesting.
As right now.
But not on everything. I mean, we saw just today the president wanted to do birthright citizenship. Some of the conservatives said no to him on that. Just yesterday, they said no to his mail-in ballot scheme. I mean, some of isn't that proof that the system is working, that you don't need to expand? And if you expand, when does it stop? I mean, do you end up with 150 justices? If the Democrats expand, why wouldn't Republicans expand it back?
The bar cannot be so low that we celebrate, not even unanimous, but most of the court agreeing that the plain text of the Constitution should remain the plain text of the Constitution, as was the case in the birthright citizenship case. We had 4 Republican justices who were willing to say that even though that says right there in the Constitution that if you're born in the United States, you're an American citizen, that's not good enough for them. They're willing to upend that. So we can't allow the bar to be so low that we're willing to take these scraps and think that it's acceptable in any way. As far as the second question, are we going to prevent ourselves from taking action here for fear of Republicans abusing their power in the future? Are they not abusing their power right now?
Yeah.
So we can either make the conscious
point.
decision to entrench the status quo, or we can recognize that this system is not working, that these people are basically ultra-partisan politicians in robes, and actually take steps that we need to take to make sure that any progressive legislation can withstand scrutiny.
So this book is essentially a roadmap to the next Democratic president of what you want them to do on a variety of issues, not just the Supreme Court. And you sat down with somebody who could be that person, who talked about your opening chapter. Watch this.
A lot of us long for the day of that opening scene in January 2029, new president of the United States behind the Resolute desk. Donald Trump, contrast that scene, little Hollywood here, down in Mar-a-Lago, stressed, frustrated.
I wonder if he's ever thought of that scene himself.
Truly one of life's great mysteries.
Yeah, so you did this over an hour-and-a-half conversation with Gavin Newsom about what the next governor or next president of the United States should do.
Yeah.
How sort of surreal was that? To have him be the interviewer.
It was really interesting because the point of the book is, as you said, it's a blueprint to get Democrats to fight, to actually wield power. I mean, I talk a lot about how Republicans have abused their power, how Democrats have shied away from using their power because they've been more deferential to institutions and norms and the filibuster and processes and the parliamentarian. Republicans don't have that problem. But in any case, to be able to make the case to Gavin Newsom, especially as it relates to the Supreme Court, something he's been chilly on in the past, to me, to then be able to, while speaking about this book, trying to get Democrats to fight and to exercise power, to persuade him to be able to do exactly that is a testament to the fact that the blueprint works. It's just a matter of making the case to as many people as possible.
Yeah, and you're very good at making the case online. You get over 200 million views a month. That's crazy. Have billions of views on your YouTube page. And so you've figured out sort of the messaging that works. And you've taught Democratic politicians about the messaging that works. You talk about the art of the con is one of the chapters in here. We have this report today that President Trump made billions of dollars in office, billions, including a lot of it from crypto, which he has regulated or not regulated. Is that a message that goes through? I mean, what is the message that is most animating the Democratic base right now, especially online?
Yeah, I think that's exactly it. I mean, we can talk about crypto, we can talk about all of the grifts that he's done, his vanity projects. Each one kind of feels like it's like its own 2-week news cycle, but all of it is a small part of a larger whole, because this is somebody who came into office on this pretext that he was going to be focusing on the little guy, that he was going to deliver on an America First agenda. He talked about housing and rent and groceries. He got so granular that he was talking about the price of an egg. And then he gets into office and immediately launches a trade war that raises the cost of everything, immediately sparks off a war with Iran, even though he promised no new wars in the Middle East. That raised the price of oil and gas here at home. He gutted people's health care, cut food assistance, has done nothing to help the little guy, and yet we're seeing these reports on a near daily basis of Donald Trump's newest scheme, how he's making billions of dollars in crypto, how he's encrusting the Oval Office in gold, building himself a ballroom that none of us regular people are ever going to be able to step foot into, focusing on the reflecting pool. And so individually they might seem like insignificant, disparate stories, but in aggregate, they really paint the picture of not just a president, but a party more broadly that does not care, that does not give a crap about regular people because they're so focused on delivering for the God King at the top.
And but you'd see the juice on that online. I mean, that is where the energy is.
I think it animates people to such a large degree because that is directly antithetical to what he said he would do on the campaign trail.
Congratulations on the book, available for pre-order now and comes out officially when?
Officially July 14th. Anybody can go to Brian Tyler.
A brand new CNN analysis ranks the 9 Senate races most likely to flip and decide control of the upper chamber. 6 are Republican held. 3 belong to Democrats. Win a few, the majority is yours. Of course, this is a map that will evolve over the next 124 days. I'm joined now by a terrific group of reporters, including Arlette Saenz. Arlette, you wrote the analysis piece for CNN.com on this. So I'm going to put up on the screen the 9 seats, the 9 races that we're looking at the closest. And you can see there, and here are the rankings. You start with number 1, North Carolina, which is now a GOP-held seat. That is most likely to be a Democratic pickup. Maine, we're going to talk about this in a second, as number 2. And then you go through to Michigan, Ohio, Alaska, all the way out here, Iowa, Georgia, and then Texas is last. Oh, I forgot about New Hampshire. There you go.
Yeah. Well, these are the 9 states where the battle for control of the Senate will play out. And for the first time, we are ranking them in order of most likely to flip. This is really based on our conversations with various strategists who are involved in the races, polling, and a host of other factors. But North Carolina does top that list right now for Democrats. It's under Republican control. This is a state where a Democratic senator has not been elected since 2008. Then moving on with the list, we go up to Maine, then move over, which is also under Republican control,
this is obviously the Susan Collins, Graham
Plattner. Then we move over to Michigan, where there is still a very unsettled Democratic primary playing out there. If Democrats have any chance of winning back control of the Senate, they need to hold on to Michigan because they would still need to flip 4 Republican-held seats. Then you go into a host of red territory. All of those states, Ohio, Alaska, Iowa, currently held by Republicans. Then further rounding out the list is Georgia, where a presidential battleground state where you do have a very strong Democratic candidate in Jon Ossoff. And then you have New Hampshire and Texas. I know we'll get a little bit more into these races, but this is just a snapshot in time. It certainly will adjust over the coming months, but these are the 9 states where the battle for the Senate
let's zero in on what you call number 1, which is North Carolina. And this is just the latest Fox News poll. One of the reasons why Democrats are so bullish, and analysts as well, is because of, this is a New York Times poll, of Roy Cooper, who is a popular governor and running to be the state's senator. And he's fair. I mean, this is obviously, there's got almost a 5% margin of error, but still, given the fact that this, as you said, this hasn't been a Democratic held seat in years. He's got a pretty comfortable margin right now.
Right. I was about to say, I've been talking to Republican sources this week as well, and they're looking at North Carolina as their most endangered seat in terms of those to flip. And which is interesting because there's been a lot of ink about, what's going on in Maine, obviously bloody primaries elsewhere in the state, in both parties. But North Carolina, first of all, it hasn't actually gotten a lot of attention for how important it is because, first of all, the candidates are both sort of boring and kind of low profile. But you're right, Chuck Schumer got an excellent candidate and Roy Cooper, the former governor. And I've heard some concerns about Republicans just about the quality of Mike Whatley, the Republican candidate who is very allied with Trump. He's seen as President Trump's pick, former chair of the RNC. I've heard from concerns from Republicans in the state that while the Trump, association helps, he needs an identity that goes beyond Trump, particularly if you want to tell voters to vote for me for senator, to be in there for 6 years beyond when Trump is out of office.
Yeah, and I mean, also, anyone who's seen Michael Whatley speak or, do an event knows that he's just not a dynamic candidate. He's not out there wooing the crowd. I mean, there is a reason that Trump waited to weigh in on this primary or on this candidate because he was waiting to see if Laura Trump was going to run. He was looking at other candidates. He likes Michael Whatley. The White House likes Michael Whatley, but he doesn't necessarily energize the crowds, and that's going to be part of the issue as well.
Let's look at let's look at one red state, which is actually one of the most interesting, and that is Iowa. This is retiring Senator Joni Ernst's open seat, so it is a GOP-held seat. And we just saw primaries to decide who's going to be the nominees. Ashley Hinson is the Republican nominee, who is somebody who is Democrats and Republicans look at her and think that she is a very talented candidate, probably one of those who can potentially beat the odds against Donald Trump everywhere, and including that state. But right now, again, this is a Fox poll that just came out. Josh Turek, who is the Democrat, is as we said at the beginning, 124 days is like eternity, an eternity in politics. But still, the snapshot is interesting.
This is interesting, and I think you hit the key point when you said that she has a chance to beat the odds when it comes to Donald Trump too, right? I mean, Ashley Hinton is somebody that has aligned herself with Donald Trump. She does. A large part of her support comes from MAGA voters as well. But this race has a theme that's emblematic more broadly when it comes to the Senate map right now, and that's does the frustration and in time support, but frustration with Donald Trump seep down to impact these races? Does the frustration and disapproval with the economy right now seep down and impact these races? This is a great example of that, particularly when you have a candidate that has really aligned herself with Donald Trump as she goes against somebody who has proven to be popular in Josh Turek.
Let's go back to Georgia, and that is on your ranking, you have it as number 7 as the potential to flip. It is a Democratic held seat, 2 of them actually in Georgia right now. But this particular race is, of course, Jon Ossoff trying to keep it and prevent it from going from D to R. And look at this. I mean, this is a senator who got in, barely by the skin of his teeth in runoffs in a very dramatic way in 2020. And so far, it's not even close in the polling. I mean, Jon Ossoff is doing much better than Mike Collins. Now, there was just somewhat recently a primary where Mike Collins had to fight fellow Republicans to get this, but still.
Yeah, I mean, this has the potential to narrow, but 13 points is a pretty wide margin. And Senator Jon Ossoff has really, Democrats have felt, has been a very strong candidate. He's an incredibly strong fundraiser. He has this way of making these speeches that they can clip moments that then go viral. Of course, there's a lot of buzz about him, about whether if he survives the Senate race, could he have his eye on the White House in 2028. But Republicans for several months, even before the primary had been settled, had been expressing some anxiety around the Georgia Senate race. They had really hoped that the state's governor, Brian Kemp, would get into this race. He's very popular. He did not decide to run. And Then he backed a candidate who he could not get over the finish line. And so there's a lot of different dynamics at play here in Georgia, but it's one of those states, it's a consequential battleground for president every single year. And right now, John Ossoff does appear to be in a good position as he seeks re-election.
Well, and there's also a lot of Republicans who are concerned that Collins hasn't been vetted properly and that there might be some skeletons there.
Mike Collins.
Yes, Mike Collins. That there might be something there because they are concerned that he's not really had a big public race, and they want to make sure that they have the strongest candidate. He's very new to the scene, and if we look at the way President Trump handled this, he didn't endorse until he knew that Mike Collins was going to win, looking at both of these candidates. So, Republicans still are a little skittish. Was he the best? Was he the strongest candidate to put out there? And we'll find out.
Let's go back to your rankings and let's look at number 3 on the list. This is Michigan. It's a Democratic held seat. Again, it's open because Senator Gary Peters is retiring. And this is one of those, as you said, that is very, very competitive on the Democratic side. The primary is not going to happen until later this summer. We did have some news this morning.
Chat app that I'm getting, so I won't keep missing when people from other chats are talking to me because that's happened too many times now.
Which is that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez formally endorsed one of the Democratic candidates, Abdul El-Sayed, in this critical Michigan Senate race. And so, one of the questions is whether or not he will win and how that will sort of play out, considering that he is further to the left than the other Democrats running, and how that will play in a purple state when he's going to be running against former Republican Congressman Mike Rogers.
Yeah, there's a couple themes here, right? I mean, and it does expose sort of the factions in the Democratic Party. It does raise a challenge of the person who might be popular when it comes to a primary. How do you then take some of those views and translate it to a general? And we know there can be a bridge there, right? It can be a gap. It can be different. The AOC endorsement's also interesting, just from when you look at her in isolation, because she's actually been hesitant to really get out there and endorse some of even the progressive candidates that we've seen, even though we're coming off a week where we've seen a lot of wins coming from the progressive flank. You do wonder if sort of that momentum after New York as well as Colorado provided an incentive to sort of get in there and actually come with this endorsement.
Let's just look at the current balance of power so we have a proper context of what needs to happen in order for Democrats to flip. It's a hill. It's a pretty steep hill, Arlette.
Yeah, it is. Democrats, with the current makeup, they would need to hold on to all of their seats and flip 4 if they were to regain control of the Senate. But so much of this battle is going to play out in these states that have been red and trending even more red in recent years. The question is whether those dynamics might be changing with this election, especially as there's frustration with President Trump and the economy. Republicans have been long hoping that there would be some type of resolution to the conflict with Iran, that could potentially ease some of the economic concerns. But right now, given all the volatility we've seen, there's really no guarantee that that's going to happen.
Thanks for bringing us this great analysis and reporting. Appreciate it.
Why is it showing me random shit? Okay. Yeah. But I just want it all in like one fucking window. Okay. Wait a minute. Okay. I just want one window with all of them in one place. Okay. Can I just get one? Just one window, please. Okay, cool. And then let's see here. Oh. No. Can I not just get... Okay. Let's see. Window. Preferences, view. Sources and something. Okay. Okay, but like, how do I actually see it in one window? That's like the whole point. Main shot. Oh, no, I don't want it as an overlay. I just want to see it. Okay. I'll have to fuck with this off stream. Let me just take one more look through here in case there's anything I'm missing. Window. Yeah, I'll try it later. Okay. Watch some of this.
I stand by my decisions as special counsel, including the decision to bring charges against President Trump. Our investigation developed proof beyond a reasonable doubt that President Trump engaged in criminal activity. If asked whether to prosecute a former president based on the same facts today, I would do so regardless of whether that president was a Democrat or a Republican.
Damn right. Damn
No
Skippy.
No one should be above the law in this country, and the law required that he be held to account, so that is what I did.
Hi again, everybody. It's now 5 o'clock here in Washington, D.C. This show, Deadline White House, debuted the day that Donald Trump fired Jim Comey. He fired him for refusing to look the other way in the Mike Flynn case, among other actions that Donald Trump viewed as annoying and disloyal. Since that first broadcast, we have endeavored to chronicle Donald Trump's vicious war against the rule of law in our country. And no one understands what Trump's attacks against the rule of law look like better than that man, former special counsel Jack Smith. So much of what we know about Donald Trump's efforts to undo his defeat in the 2020 presidential election against Joe Biden and his mishandling of some of the country's most sensitive national security secrets is because of the tireless work of Jack Smith and his team. More than anyone else in the country, he represented a threat to Donald Trump because he followed the facts, and they led him deep inside Donald Trump's government and political coalition. The facts revealed crimes, and those crimes were serious enough to represent a very real risk of conviction at trial for Donald Trump. That's the standard to indict somebody. And because of that fact, Donald Trump has called Jack Smith horrible things: a quote thug, a scoundrel, a criminal, and a sick man. And we could actually go on and on, but we don't want to waste our time that way. Trump has threatened to prosecute him, and Jack Smith has made clear that he was just doing his job. He would do it all over again if given the chance. In his letter to Attorney General Merrick Garland, delivering his final report, he writes this, quote, "The claim from Mr. Trump that my decisions as a prosecutor were influenced or directed by the Biden administration or other political actors is, in a word, laughable. While we were not able to bring the cases we charged to trial, I believe the fact that our team stood up for the rule of law matters. I believe the example our team set for others to fight for justice without regard for the personal costs matters. The facts as we uncovered them in our investigation and as we set forth in my report matter. That's where we start the hour. Joining us for his first interview, former Special Counsel Jack Smith. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you so much for having me.
I asked you this when you walked in, and I'll ask you, how weird is it to view it as part of your service to tell the story of the investigations you led?
Yeah, well, I was a career prosecutor. I worked in the Justice Department and other prosecutors' offices for near on 30 years. I don't know if your viewers know this, but I worked in Republican and Democratic administrations over and over. I was the acting U.S. attorney in the first Trump administration in Nashville, Tennessee. And that administration appointed me to a position running a war crimes tribunal for the State Department. So I have investigated cases focusing on the facts and the law throughout my career. We did this case the same way, under the same standards, and the thing that's, I think, important for your viewers to know is those standards are not meant to change from one administration to the next. And in my experience, until now, they haven't. And so, I think we are facing an attack on the rule of law that is different in kind and scope to anything I've seen in my lifetime. And one of the reasons I wanted to be with you here today, in advance of the 4th of July, celebrating the birth of a country that we all love, is to celebrate the public servants who do this work, the people I spent my career working shoulder to shoulder with. I loved being a prosecutor, and part of it was I loved being around these sort of people. And it angers me to see them victimized, to see them demonized for doing their jobs. I think it's really important that we stand up for them and let them know that there are a lot of people out there who back them and who are with them. And that's not just the people who've been targeted and fired for no reason for doing their jobs. It's also the people still in the Justice Department today. There are a lot of good career prosecutors who right now are working under incredibly difficult circumstances, and they're still trying to do the right thing. And these are not self-promoters. These are not people who are going to go out and crow about their achievements. We need to hold them up and celebrate them because they're part of what makes this country great.
Some of the agents, FBI agents that worked for you, have been savaged by Donald Trump and Kash Patel. At least one agent talked about being fired while he was taking care of his very, very sick wife. What did you expect to happen to these agents, and do you regret putting any of them in that position?
I feel terrible about what has happened to them. If there's one thing I've spent my time on since leaving my work as special counsel, is doing what I can to help and support them. The individual you're talking about, he was nursing his wife who was dying of cancer, and they fired him shortly after she died. I went to the funeral. That funeral was filled with heroes, public servants on both families. And I just can't believe that if people knew the character of these people I worked with, that they could ever stand for the demonizing that's happened to them. It's just beyond anything I can understand.
And my sense from my limited exposure to people in DOJ and the FBI from my time in government is they don't really want to go do other things. They want this to be their life's work, protecting the country's national security. Will you talk a little bit about the price people have paid who have been purged for political purposes?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the agents and prosecutors I've worked with, and to be clear, not just in the special counsel's office, but throughout my career in a bunch of different positions I've had in the Justice Department, this is the culmination of what they wanted to do. It's why they went to law school, and it's their way of serving our country. And we've seen so many times in these retribution cases where prosecutors wouldn't be a part of it. Prosecutors in Minnesota who are like, I'm not going to investigate the family member of a shooting victim. I'm not doing that. Prosecutors who wouldn't go through with retribution prosecutions, and those people give up a lot. This is their whole career. A lot of them, this isn't a lucrative sort of profession for a lawyer in terms of what you could do in private practice. They have to support their families. And one thing I have hope about is I think the traditions in the department, the people it draws, are so strong that we're going to have to rehabilitate the department for sure. But there's a lot of people still there, still in place, wanting to do the right thing, wanting to follow the facts and the law, not be a part of any retribution campaign. And I think for me, one of the things I see as I go around and talk to folks, and I try to travel around the country a lot and see different people and talk to different perspectives about this, is that those people, it really matters to them if they know they're being supported. Part of this campaign is to make people feel like isolated and feel like they don't have people backing them up. And so I just think it's really important. I want to express my support. I think everybody else should express their support. It's something with meaning, and it's also something that matters.
I mean, Chris Wray was the director of the FBI when the FBI agents that you're talking about went to work for you. He said nothing. Why?
I can't really comment on other people's choices. I would say
Would it help?
Well, I think my perspective on this is that in the moment we're in, which is a pretty dire moment, right? What we're facing, that we should be uplifting the people who are doing the right thing. And I'll give you an example from my life. I resigned as special counsel. I know I need to get a lawyer because the president has said he wants to jail me for doing my job. And so I retain lawyers, Covington and Burling. As soon as that becomes public, the president and the Justice Department target that law firm. And they do it because they don't want me to have counsel. They don't want to have anyone represent me. And what happened next was, the very day that happened to Cole, the lawyers at the firm called me up and said, Jack, don't worry about it. We're there for you. They did not blink for a second. And as you know, that's very different than how some other law firms behaved. I think we should focus on things like that and separating a firm like Covington and Burling from other ones that didn't show courage to come forward.
Well, right. The ones that fought also have batted 1,000 in the courts. I think Judge Beryl Howell described those executive orders as giving her chills, chilling her to the bone. But some of the giant law firms that were so central in our politics in the first Trump term didn't just capitulate to Trump. They're now working for Trump's Justice Department, firms like Paul Weiss and others. What do you make of the damage they're doing to our democracy at a moment you describe as dire?
Yeah, well, I think one of the problems, there's several layers, right? One of the problems right today, besides the retribution prosecutions, is that the Justice Department can't do its job, right? If you go to court,
Explain that.
well, if you go to court and the judges don't trust you, you can't do the basic things that you need to do to represent the American people in court. And we have seen judges across the country say they can't trust prosecutors anymore. And that has such a cascading effect on any sort of case. And, you know, I can't count how many opinions, but one opinion like that in my career would have been seismic. People would not know what to do if a court said, you know, trust that's been built over generations has been lost in days, right? And that's happening every day. And so regardless of what you think politically, they're just not effective at doing their job anymore. They've jettisoned expertise, right? And so we have a situation where we've got rid of people who know how to protect our national security, and we think that that's somehow not going to have an effect on our national security. You know, an example I can give you, Brian Driscoll. I don't know if you know who he is. He was the...
He made a great video at the beginning to kind of rally the troops, it seemed, from the outside.
Yeah, I mean, he's a folk hero in the FBI. If you were casting for a hero, that's what they look
Central
like,
casting,
right? And just for your viewers, this is a guy, career agent, you know, mob investigator, SWAT team, hostage rescue, served overseas, Medal of Valor, bravery medals, all these things, and an expert in counterintelligence. They got rid of him because he stood up for agents who were being targeted improperly. You can't tell me, you cannot tell me our country is as safe as it was when people like that are being let go and fired for no reason.
Well, the purge seems to have multiple tentacles. It's for FBI agents and prosecutors who worked on your two cases. It's also for people who aren't doing the personal political bidding of the individuals there. I think Mr. Bobe started that in the short time he was there. Kash Patel, based on news accounts, seems to be carrying that out for deeply personal conduct. What does that mean for the people who were there because it was their life's dream to do that work to protect the country? What are they doing instead?
Yeah, I mean, it's very tough because, you know, the people we're talking about, these people I spent my career with, that I've so enjoyed their company and I have both respect and affection for, they're resilient people, right? And they're not going to quit at the first sign of resistance. And so, as I say, as many as these examples as we've seen where people have just said, I'm not going to be a part of that because of their integrity, because of their character, there are a lot of people still in place. And I want to be clear, these are not people who are like throwing sand in the gears. They're just doing their job as they're supposed to do it, following the facts and the law.
But is that because they haven't run into any friction from the politicization and the weaponization cases?
Yeah, I think that's right. I mean, I think, you know, what I tell friends who are still in the department is serve as long as you can. The Justice Department, our country needs the Justice Department to do its job, and you should do it as long as you feel like you can. And obviously, if you're asked to do something that you know is wrong, then your number's up and you can't do it. I would also add, Nicole, I think one of the things that maybe isn't being talked about enough is the effect it's having on the Justice Department in the future. You know, this last year, I've done a lot of speaking at law schools and universities, and, you know, it used to be that getting a job in the U.S. Attorney's Office or the Justice Department was, you know, one of the most sought after things you could possibly have. And great people who want to serve their communities and serve their countries, that was their dream. That was my dream as a young person. Those people, I can tell you, are not as interested, and they're looking to do other things. And my concern is that is, you know, the Justice Department works. I learned from mentors who came before me, and then I tried to do the same and teach those that followed me. When you break that chain, it's a real problem. And so I tell people when I go to these universities and into law schools, don't give up on it. Even if you don't like what's going on right now, there's a much longer path here, and we need you if you want to serve. For you, I guess resilience is going to happen a little earlier in your career, but I don't want people to get away from service as a result of this, because I think that's a knock-on effect that'll be much harder to solve than some of the things that we're seeing in the headlines every day.
But I'm sure these people that listen to you speak admire you in your career and the things you've been a part of. Do you think that this is a department that you could send someone to go work in and they could be asked to indict you?
Oh, I think that could happen, but I also think in the Justice Department, even as we sit here right now, there are lots of people doing good work, prosecuting violent crime, protecting their communities, doing the everyday work of being a prosecutor. And yes, it could happen. That could happen, and that would be unfortunate, and then you might have to step down. But I don't want to see people run from public service because of that possibility.
Do you expect to be indicted?
Listen, Donald Trump has made a bunch of statements.
He said he would indict you, yes.
I'll tell you, Nicole, I honestly do not spend a lot of time thinking about the things he says about me and his threats about me. I'm real focused on the people who I worked with, looking out for them. I'm real focused on how the Justice Department's going to be better going forward, things like that. In my situation, I did my job the right way. I had an all-star team. I mean, Nicole, the agents on my case, if I were to walk you through all the awards they've won throughout, you know, generations of administrations, we would be here all night. These were superstars. And I'm much more concerned that those people get to serve in the department, get to serve in the Bureau again someday.
What do you say about the facts that you developed that you see? I know you don't watch a ton of news, but you see enough to know that the basic principle of recidivism likely applies to the election case. The things that you charged are a lot of the same kinds of stories we cover. What is the cost of someone not being held accountable for their crimes?
Yeah, I mean, if you talk about the pardons of these people convicted for the violence on January 6th, right? There's all sorts of costs. There's the obvious cost of just recidivism. These are people who committed their crimes in the name and in the interest of Donald Trump, and he's returned the favor, right, by pardoning them. That sends one message to them. A message I'm equally concerned about is the message that it sends to law enforcement. Supporting law enforcement should not be a political issue. It should not be a Republican, Democrat, red, blue thing. And when I see people like Harry Dunn, who was here before, who put his life on the line to protect others, and seeing him be smeared and vilified, I don't understand that. That is, and I think more people who understand the actual facts of that, I don't think most people are okay with that. It's deeply wrong, and I have a concern because we've seen that sort of thing in the incentives it's set up.
What do you make of the fact, do you support this theory that the pardons were step one, the slush fund is step two, and sending a message to the violent insurrectionists that not only would they not be criminally accountable for their crimes, but they'd be paid for their service?
Yeah, listen, I have no unique insight on that. I see the same things you see. Regardless of whether it sets an incentive system that you're suggesting, it's just plain wrong, right? I mean, our country is built on values. That's what binds us all together. And my view has always been that those values don't have anything to do with political parties. When I'm a prosecutor and I have to get credibility, build credibility with a judge or a witness, or the jury, right? It's not about politics. It's about truthfulness, integrity, being decent to each other, exhibiting kindness, judgment. I think those are the things that bind us together, and those are the sort of things we should lean into. Like, I feel like personally, as divided as we are, if we lean into issues of integrity more, that's the best hope to get people more back together than we are now.
Do you think we still have a common definition of integrity?
I think we do, but I also, for me personally, if I'm going to have that discussion, like I said, I travel around and I go to places where people don't expect me to be. I do events, athletic events where I travel, and I'll be in like rural areas or different parts of our country, and people will come up and talk.
Endurance sporting events, right?
Yeah, I do ride bikes, things like that. But I go out in these places and I talk to different people. Yeah. People come up to me and it's interesting because they don't expect me to be there. And I have to say, the vast majority of people are really appreciative of my service and the service of our team. But even when they're not, if you engage in a discussion with people and you're open to hearing them and not just kind of telling them what you think, I actually do think that people agree that integrity is a good thing.
Do they believe that the crimes that, do they believe the facts? I mean, do they ask you about the cases you brought, and do they believe you?
Well, it depends on who you're talking about, but often the people who are more skeptical know less about the facts. And I think one of the things that's hard for me in this process is, I'm a facts guy. Facts matter. Really big on that. And when you go in a courtroom, that's all that matters, right? And so, and you know that you're going to get your turn to present the facts, and then they can present theirs, and there's a process. How we communicate with each other right now, it's very hard to do that, and very foreign to someone like me who was raised as a prosecutor. You're talking in the courtroom, not on the courtroom steps. And I think that's harder because a lot of the people I think who have resistance to what we do, they're just not versed in the facts. And not everybody wants to read a 100 whatever page report. I get it. But I think this goes to the DOJ going forward. My view is that going forward, I think we can't get away from the issues of integrity and doing things the right way and facts and law. But I also think people like me who kind of were raised on that and know that, we got to start listening more to people who know how to communicate and choose to communicate more in innovative ways. Because a lot of the people that I bump into and talk to, no one's tried to communicate with them. No one's tried to give them the facts in a way that's actually easy for them to digest. And so, very foreign to a courtroom guy like me, but I think it's a step that we got to be talking about.
I mean, this was the challenge of the Mueller findings, right? Here it kind of landed like a phone book, and that was just volume one, and no one explained it, and no one defended it, and Trump and his supporters were able to misrepresent it in a single news cycle. Was that on your mind as you did your work in these two cases?
Honestly, no. My job was to do my job the right way, and when it came time to write a report that summarized accurately what I did. I didn't really think about stuff like that, and I understand your point about Robert Mueller, but I think Robert Mueller is an American hero. I mean, how he conducted his life, serving our country in the military, service throughout as the FBI, as a prosecutor. I mean, the story I like about Robert Mueller is this is a guy who did everything you could do as a lawyer. He's a partner at a big law firm making $1 million or more, and he wants to go back and be a line prosecutor.
In San Francisco, right?
I know he was a big line in
DC
to be a homicide prosecutor. I mean, it's such a badass thing to do. I mean, in my world, that's really a cool thing. And so, maybe, as you say, like how that rolled out, he was working from a different era. And that's why I say we got to get better at that. But I don't want to lose the core of functioning with integrity and doing what's good for the country rather than what's good for you.
Do you agree that we are covering in real time an assault on our elections, the upcoming ones?
I'm very concerned of what's going to happen in the next election, absolutely.
Do you see, again, in things that are covered and things that are public-facing, conduct ahead of the midterms that you investigated on in the January 6th case?
Well, I've been thinking about it more in terms of what needs to be done based on what we saw happen last time. And, it's a different situation now based on, the people who perpetrated January 6th have probably learned from how they did that. My personal view is I think the state attorney generals have a tremendous role to play here. They can make sure the rule of law functions in their state. And I would also say that I think a thing that all of us can do is support election workers and election officials. The last time around, we saw that those people stood firm, and they were, in many cases, the difference. It's clear to me, anyways, that what I've seen publicly, that those people are going to be put under great pressure. And my experience, not only just as special counsel, but I was the chief of the public integrity section at the Department of Justice for 5 years, had a number of cases with election officials. These are people also, they're not tooting their own horn, they're not self-promoters, they just care about our democracy. We need to show them that we have their back. I think those two things are central to getting ready for the elections.
What is your advice to state attorneys general?
I would be ready to litigate everything. I would brainstorm, and I think they are. I get that sense. Every possible permutation, and don't let reason be a limitation. Imagine everything that could possibly be tried.
That Trump will do.
Yeah, and I also think it's important for them to be proactive and initiate litigation where it's appropriate, where it makes sense to, if you have a sense or reason to believe that something's going to be done to interfere with people's right to vote and participate in democracy.
The strength of the evidence that you and your investigators developed is, at least as detailed in the report that was released, seems to be that you were able to develop, and I'll say this as a non-lawyer, sort of the 360 evidence, that you understood the state of mind. You had evidence that Trump knew he was lying. There were all sorts of interactions where he said to people, well, that national security issue will be dealt with by Joe Biden because I lost. He said to another aide, quote, I can't believe I lost to that guy. So you were able to establish, and I think the Congressional Committee established some of this as well, people that he acknowledged losing to. How much of the ability to hold people accountable is based on being able to see inside meetings and have witnesses that cooperate? And I guess I'm getting back to the pardon conversation we just had. I mean, how much do you think Trump has learned in terms of how to evade an indictment like the one you brought?
Yeah, I think the one thing to start on this sort of topic is we did this case the way I've done cases throughout my career. Same investigative techniques, same use of the tools that a federal prosecutor has, and our proof was the same sort of proof you have in all sorts of cases, not just political corruption cases, but all sorts of cases I've done in my career. You prove what happened, you prove the intent of the person, and you also are thoughtful about what's the defense going to be, and can we disprove that? Because if you can't, then you can't prove a case beyond a reasonable doubt. And we did that in this case. It wasn't unique in terms of how we did it. It was the same sort of processes you'd use in any case.
And around speech, one of the things that the right used to say before Trump came back into office was to champion First Amendment protected speech. One of the things that I understood better when I read this again to prepare to talk to you was that speech in furtherance of crimes is not protected. I mean, how much do you think people should just be monitoring and tracking the things people are saying out loud in terms of stealing the midterms?
Yeah, I mean, and that's maybe a good point for your viewers, is there is rock solid Supreme Court precedent that you cannot just use speech to commit a crime. Fraud, particularly, there's a specific case on it. And so, obviously, people have a First Amendment right, and I think we made clear in our indictment that we respect First Amendment rights. It's certainly important to me that we not charge a case that would, in essence, be violating someone's rights.
Green Day,
but that doesn't mean that you can't commit crimes through words. It happens all the time. When a Ponzi scheme
What up,
person
B-Money?
is bilking someone out of their life savings, they're doing it with words. That's how that's
Thank
done.
you for
all sorts of financial
your
crimes, all sorts of corruption crimes.
infrequent
is usually communicated in
penis
words.
jump-ins.
That happens all the time.
Always
and
appreciate
in a lot of
it.
ways, this case was no different.
I was also reminded
Give
that
me a
after the Supreme
follow
Court
one of these
grants Donald
days,
Trump immunity,
man. Give me a
you
follow
file a
one
superseding
of
indictment.
these
You're still
days.
ready to bring the case to trial, right?
Yep. Correct.
Explain how you had to adjust and what that adjustment was.
Sure, and we set this forth in our report. We did what the prosecutors do and what you're supposed to do. We received a decision from the court. It wasn't the decision we wanted. We didn't agree with the reasoning of it. But in a society where you believe in the rule of law, you follow the court's decisions. And so we analyzed the decision, and we looked at what sort of evidence we could no longer use and what sort of evidence we could use. And we set this forth in filings because in this particular case, a lot of the evidence was him in his role as a candidate. We felt we could go forward, and we briefed this issue for the court. And obviously, we never got to a conclusion where we could litigate the ultimate conclusion of that. But we would not have gone forward with the case unless I still felt we could prove it beyond a reasonable doubt, just like we wouldn't have gone forward with the case in the first place if we couldn't. And I guess one point I would want to emphasize there is I think a difference between the work we did and what you're seeing today is in our work there was no predetermined outcome. When I took this job, I was perfectly happy to bring this case if the facts and law warranted it or not. And I've done that throughout my career, and it hasn't mattered what person's political party was to do that. That's how we went about our work. Completely apolitical. Politics did not play a role.
Were you kind of hoping that the criminality wasn't as brazen as what you developed and uncovered?
I don't think good prosecutors hope. You follow the facts and the law, and one of the good principles that real prosecutors always follow is the facts matter. And you don't not go down an avenue because maybe some facts will come out that will hurt my case. You go and look at all the facts you possibly can, as searching as you possibly can, because you want to get it right. That contrasts to what we're seeing today, where there is a predetermined outcome. Process doesn't matter, and we just have to find a way to get to that outcome. And if there's facts that don't fit that outcome, we don't recognize them. And if there's facts that make it not a crime, we just pretend those don't exist.
I mean, a judge basically said that in the Kilmar Aurelio Garcia case, said that he found that this was an instance where basically criminality was being reverse engineered all the way up to Todd Blanche. If a judge has found that, what do you think they're capable of with 2 more years?
Well, as I said earlier, from my perspective, I've seen a number of cases. James Comey, Letitia James, Jerome Powell. I mean, right? There's not criminality here. I mean, seashells. I mean, so the only reasonable explanation is the president has it out for these people, and he has people who are his former personal lawyers who are going to do what he says, regardless of the facts of the law. I mean, again, just to juxtapose it, I didn't have people on my team resigning because they refused to go along with the scheme to go after somebody. That was not what happened. You see that in all these cases. And just, again, imagine, if you would, I was appointed from outside the government, no political allegiance to anybody, and they were comfortable with Jack, wherever you think the facts and law dictate, that's what we'll do. And that's what will happen. Can you imagine that happening now? If there was an allegation of corruption in this administration, them saying, let's appoint an outside independent person to make a call on this? I think we know it would never happen, and I think that's a real easy way to differentiate following the process, following the facts, having independence.
If you took the name of our country off it and you were just examining the state of the rule of law in America, is it dead?
I don't think so at all. And for the reasons I said earlier, there are legions of career prosecutors, people just like me, you just don't know their name, who want to do the right thing. They're in the Justice Department. They want to serve. We have a lot of challenges in front of us, and the rehabilitation of the department is not going to be any mean feat. Recovering character is a lot harder than gaining it in the first place, but I think we're totally capable of doing that. I'm completely optimistic.
We've talked about the dedicated public servants in the department and the FBI that worked on your cases. One of them you can't talk about, and that's all of these. And these are some of the ones that Trump has raged against most ferociously, and that is the prosecutors and agents involved in the documents case. Just explain why you can't talk about that.
Yeah, there's an order from the judge in Florida, Judge Cannon, that report is under seal, and I don't want to do anything that could be misconstrued as me not following court order. I'm a lawyer who follows court orders, and so I just don't want to do anything that would be remotely construed as not complying with her order.
Let me just ask the things that you've said publicly about standing by the facts that you developed and standing by what you put in your reports. You stand by volume 2?
Absolutely.
And the men and women who worked on those cases have been targeted with some of the most vicious retribution and political attacks. Are they political actors?
Absolutely not.
For the ones that are, have any of them survived the purge at the Bureau and the Department of Justice?
I don't think that's really for me to say. I think I'm focused on the people I can help, and that's what I've been trying to do.
All right, we don't want to jeopardize any of those individuals, and we don't want to put you in a bad spot with Judge Aileen Cannon. Do you think there's any chance of on the Supreme Court?
I have no views on that whatsoever.
We'll watch that with bated breath. I want to share some reporting from my friend Glenn Thrush at the New York Times, who's covered some of the folks that you've talked about, and sort of come back to what's on the other side. Kash Patel summarily fired Chris Meyer and another top agent in the Washington, D.C. field office who had been targeted by the right, Walter Giordino. Mr. Patel did so after being told that the terminations were unlawful and that pushing out Mr. Giordino, who was caring for his dying wife, something he talked about, would be inexcusably cruel, according to a lawsuit filed by 3 FBI supervisors, also dismissed by Kash Patel. Quote, we were always told that we would be taken care of and there would not be any retaliation for our assigned work. Mr. Giordino, 48, told his supervisors the day he was fired, the circle of trust had been broken. I want to ask you about this concept of a circle of trust.
Good old
because we talked
Kash.
about with the pardons and the slush fund, Trump seems to be erecting, again, what is public-facing, a circle of trust with people who committed crimes for which they were convicted by juries of their peers. Not just pardoning them, but giving them money. That circle of trust doesn't do anything for the public, for public safety, for U.S. national security. How do you begin to put back together a circle of trust between public servants who protected the country from threats?
Yeah, I think for me, the biggest thing we can do, and it's challenging, is to get the facts out in ways that people can digest them. I think if you have a question of, is a rioter who assaulted a police officer on January 6th a patriot, or is Harry Dunn a patriot? We win that argument every time if people have the facts. And I think it's hard, and you know, as a prosecutor who worked in a courtroom and didn't really work in the media and didn't, you know, want to give a speech on the courthouse steps, I think we've now learned that you got to be able to get people to understand the facts. We've got a great product in the work that we did as a special counsel, the work the Justice Department does every day, but the people who do it, who are really the reason you can trust it, they don't promote themselves, and so we need to get their stories out there. I think if that happens, the sort of trust in government, which is pretty hard to earn, you can do that. That's my experience as a trial lawyer, it's my experience in life when I interact with people in the world, and part of the reason I frankly want to talk to you today is to talk about these people, because they're good people, and if you sat down with them for a coffee or a beer or a meal, you would like them, you would trust them, and you would see the things that are being said about them are lies.
And in my experience, which is dated, none of them are particularly political.
I don't know the politics of any of these people. That's not something we talk about in the Justice Department.
What does it do to the ability to imagine something on the other side that isn't a reaction to what's happening now? I mean, everyone from all the reporting that we have access to is only doing the kind of work you're talking about if they avoid being asked to do something that violates their oath or is unethical or is part of the retribution cases or is predicated on Trump's conspiracies, as we covered at the top of the hour, a massive deployment of intelligence agents to go look at data in Georgia based on a lie. What happens on the other side to people that were involved in that misdirection of resources?
Well, you know, one thing I don't like is this idea that everybody who did things we don't like, they're guilty of crimes too, and we're going to prosecute them. It should be the facts and the law, and you should look at not let's find this person and let's target them and see if we can find a crime. That's what's happening now. I think it's really important that whoever leads the Justice Department after this rejects that sort of thinking. That doesn't mean that people who have committed crimes should get a free pass, and it's going to be difficult. I actually think the investigation of these things isn't hard. What's hard is getting people to understand it's been done in an objective way, explaining in a way that people can digest that things are done following the facts and law and don't involve politics. That's a challenge. Doing the actual work, there's lots of people out there who've spent their careers like I have who are capable of doing that work. Not just cases in the political realm, but particularly cases also affecting our national security. I spend a lot of time worrying about that when I see some of the people who've been fired.
When you feel optimistic about our ability to come through and about the caliber of the people who are inside the department, what do you think and do you feel is optimistic about a country that would re-elect someone for whom the facts showed he'd committed multiple felonies?
My view, Nicole, is our country's done a lot of things at a lot of different times. And what generally happens is when something really bad happens, Watergate, for example, we respond and we get better as a result. I'm not saying the Justice Department has been perfect every day, but the people I worked with, I saw people trying to move things in the right direction. And I think it would be foolish to say we're not facing challenges right now, but when you face a challenge like we are today, you have a choice about the attitude you take towards it. Anyone can put anything on you, but you have a choice about the attitude you take. For me, and I think a lot of the people that I've worked with, our view is I want to behave now in a way that my kids will be proud.
Yeah.
I want to act in a way that when I'm retired, I look back on this time and say, I did things right. I think a lot of people relate to that, and I think it's understandable. And I think if we start aligning actions with our beliefs, it's a huge, huge step. I think one of the things I've seen, which is the sort of journey I've been on, is, you know, with me being targeted by the president, you get to find out who's who, right? You get to find out who runs toward the fire, who kind of backs away. It's difficult in the moment, but I think for the future, that's going to be really helpful to know.
Are you afraid to be speaking out?
No, not at all. I'm not going to be intimidated, and there's no way in the world, if the thought was to go after me so that I wouldn't speak up about the corruption that's happening or speak up to defend these agents and prosecutors, that is a grave miscalculation. There's no way I'm going to be intimidated.
Would it help the Bureau and the Department of Justice if more of the leaders above the chain of command above you spoke out with the same messages, Merrick Garland and Lisa Monaco?
I'm not going to forecast what other people can do or tell other people how they should handle a particular situation. Everyone's got to make their own particular choice. My strong view is rather than sort of critiquing people who haven't done what we might like them to do, and good, high integrity people who serve the public, spend their careers in public service, let's focus on when we see somebody doing a good thing, we raise them up. I think that's a more productive way to face the challenge we're facing right now.
I want to ask you about some of your earlier work at DOJ. You worked in public integrity, which somewhere someone has all of their office supplies, right? And this week we reported that Donald Trump raked in $2 billion since returning to the White House. It's such a perversion of everything that's come before it. What do you make or what do you think when you think about the gutting of all of the prosecutors that used to investigate and prosecute those crimes?
Yeah, I'm saddened by it because when I was at public integrity, when I was the chief of the section, and this was a section that was created in the wake of Watergate. It's one of the reforms after Watergate to deal with corruption in the government. We did good work. We did important work. We did nonpartisan work. And seeing that section gutted saddens me. But I have to say, at the same time, that started because the attorneys in that section stood up. When the Adams case in New York, that they forced the dismissal of a completely legitimate case that the prosecutors in the Southern District of New York brought, and they tried to force public integrity to sort of lend their credibility to the dismissal. That's what I'm talking about people of integrity. You know, the Southern District prosecutors, I don't know.
But they left and they're not in the department anymore.
Right, but my point is there's people like that throughout the department, and there's people who are going to continue to stand up. I have a huge allegiance to them, and I have a huge affection for them, and I know they're out there, and I just want to make sure they all hear us, because this is going to go on for a while. The path to victory here is not a short one, and I think the people in place who are doing their jobs, the people who stood up, we should celebrate them, just like we're celebrating the 4th of July. These are the people who make this country great, in my view.
Is this the beginning of speaking out on their behalf more regularly, more frequently when you come back?
You know, it's new for me, Nicole. We'll see. You know, I'm trying, as a prosecutor for 30 years, and I'm in a different world now. I started a law firm, as I think you know, with our friend Tim Hafey, and I want to do whatever I can to be helpful right now, and I want to figure out what that is. I don't have an interest in being on TV to talk just so I can be on TV to talk. If there's a way that I feel like I can be helpful, I'm going to do it. and that's going to guide me.
We really appreciate you deciding to talk to us here today. We've covered you for a long time. We admire what looks like sort of standing strong in the face of withering attacks from the most powerful person in the country in our politics. And it's really a treat to talk to you. Thank you.
Well, I really appreciate you having me. Thanks so much.
Thank you for being here. If we ever get anything wrong, though, send up a flare. Let us know.
Sounds good.
Thank you so much for being here.
All right, guys, that will do it for our early stream. I will be back in a few hours. Argentina will have played by then. How fucking exciting. So exciting. Hopefully there'll be less lurkers, more people talking. We'll do the debate improv thing, which I think is going to be pretty cool and pretty fun. And then I think we'll do Friday Night Jams tonight, which seems like more fun to do it Friday instead of Monday. I don't know. We'll give it a try today since we didn't get to do